I don't know. It just seems like the biggest divide is probably between Arya and Sansa, right?
Yeah, now I'm thinking this actually got me. You talking about that actually got me thinking about something, and this makes way more sense given the route we're in, actually, and something I've never really thought about. The stuff with Baelish in season 7, and that's when it was like that to me is like when the show like didn't know what to do.
Right.
If that actually takes place in the Vale, it makes way more sense.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
If Arya comes back and hears that Sansa is the Lady of the Vale and goes there instead, which is actually where she's heading, and then I think we only have one Arya chapter left. And then I do want to get your thoughts on the difference where, in the show he fights Brienne, whereas in the book it's just that at the inn. If Arya actually just shows up the Vale and then they do that there where they kicked her out the moon door and everything, that is way more significant, has way more impact, and makes way more sense, especially given the fact that we know that Sansa, she's not in the same position she was in the show where she's up north married to the Boltons.
Yeah, and I think it would make more sense and also be more impactful because Baelish actually has some sort of power in the Vale, or at least he's trying to obtain enough power in the Vale. So it would be him falling from grace.
That could even be that actually would solve a lot of issues I've always been like, man, Sansa is like the one knows.
You can go a lot of different ways with her.
That could even be like the last chapter of Winds of Winter, or the epilogue, or like even just like towards the very end of the book, and then Sansa's totally free to go do whatever, whether it's go with young Griff or whatever. Baelish may even suggest marrying her to a Targaryen, and if Arya is there, that could be something to be like, absolutely not. The Targaryens killed our grandfather.
Yeah. I do wonder, all this lining up with the Battle of the Bastards, and like we've speculated that Sansa could still show up with the Knights of the Vale. It wouldn't be a bad moment by any means, but I don't know how much time there is. I guess Jon has to get resurrected though, so it might take a whole book. Yeah, actually, it could still all take place. Like you could even have the Baelish thing happen before the Knights of the Vale.
Yeah,
showing.
Yeah, I mean, the Knights of the Vale could show up, and you don't have to have a Sansa chapter. It could just be like it could be a Jon chapter. It could be his point of view, and then the Knights of the Vale show up, and then Dream for Spring will be Jon, and you could start open with a Sansa chapter. Now she's talking to Jon after this whole thing.
Yeah,
so
you definitely could.
That you don't necessarily have to have her as part of like her chapters and everything. Because things we know that we know the show did that we're not getting this like Ramsay revenge arc that Sansa gets with like the dogs and stuff, which by the way just is a sick scene.
Like, yeah,
I mean, just totally justifiable.
Yeah, felt good to watch him die.
Yeah, great. I loved every second of that. Now, do you like more in the show that where he fights Brienne and that's where he gets injured and then Arya goes? Or
of course, it's cool to think about, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, Brienne, especially in a book right now, she's on her totally different arc.
I didn't like it. And not that I thought the show was bad or anything. That was like season 7 where it was like, uh-oh, like we're in trouble.
Yeah, season 7, I was starting to panic.
Yeah, season 7, the Baelish stuff, I was like, uh-oh.
And I also thought the Faith stuff in 6 was a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, but the Brienne Hound fight, I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it felt very convenient. And also Westeros, I mean, one of the magical things when you read these books is that you kind of realize that, one, obviously Westeros is big, but it's even bigger for a society that doesn't have means of communication like we do. And the fact that some people don't even know what the King Robert Baratheon looks like. I always talk about that moment in Game of Thrones where the peasant thinks Ned Stark is Robert Baratheon because he doesn't know what the king looks like. And for two people to randomly cross is fine. It's a book. It's fiction after all. But it makes the world feel smaller to me. Personally, I don't think it's necessary.
I just didn't like it. Also, the scene is so weird because Arya's like, "Hey, I'm fine. Like, I'm good."
Yeah.
It's not like, "Hey, please save me" or anything. He's like, "I'm good."
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward scene. I mean, the fight,
and then also like, then nothing happens, and she just like takes off. And so
yeah, it's just
totally unnecessary.
Yeah, it felt like a moment for some battle, put people on different paths, I guess. I mean, again, Sansa's in a totally different location at that point, so
yeah.